Greetings and welcome to episode 24 of the Weekly Review, the weekly podcast, 4 words about games, where we talk about the games that we've been playing. I just realized I didn't. Did I upload the audio for the last podcast? Yeah, I did.
I don't know.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah,
sure
you
I did.
shared it. It's on Twitter. You shared it on Twitter.
I share the links all the time. I don't know. Doesn't mean anything. The links are saved in a notepad document on my computer. I just copy paste them.
I'll have a look for you while you do this intro, Amy.
That's good. I mean, I've done the intro. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by Mr. Dafford, Mark Moody.
I've returned, ladies and gentlemen.
We just had a 5-minute discussion about what episode number this is, and I don't know if you noticed, but I almost forgot in the intro.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that, Amy. I always notice that. I see everything.
Cheers. What do you think of
everywhere.
What do you think of the new camera angle? Because it's your first
Really
time on the camera.
I like it. Really kind of Amy. It looks really good.
It's good.
Almost as good, ladies and gentlemen, as the Bahrain Grand Prix. Oh my God, was that the most exhilarating race that you've seen in 2021? It was amazing. Verstappen was amazing. Hamilton was just like, yo, I'm a 7 downward champion. You're not going to get past me, boy. Maybe when you're a little older. But no, yeah, that was a fantastic race. Amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And as I've literally now scared you all off, let's get back to Amy.
I gave you 30 seconds. I was going to say something. Yeah, I was going to continue talking about the thing we were talking about. So the desk, it's a corner desk. It's a custom-built corner desk because the room, this room has, it's like, because there's a fireplace in the room up below, so it has like a chimney breast going all the way up. So it's got like,
as well.
So it's got like 2 alcoves, and I've got the desk. We got some wood, and we basically just built a custom desk to go in and all the way along. It's really big, but it's like a corner desk, so it's like it curves. And like when I've been, because this is where I was sat, so like in the old podcasting days of last week, like this is where I was sat, like facing this way, but it's like a corner part of the desk, so I always felt a bit bunched in and stuff, and I was just like, you know what, I used to have it like this in the old days, and I don't know why I changed it, and I remember because there's a bed there, and I cared about that kind of thing at one point, but I was just like, no, I just moved it around, and it's like it's so much more comfortable. I've got so much more space. Like, I'm not like, laptop. Oh no, drink right next to laptop. What could possibly go wrong? Now I've got like, as Phil would say, I've got room for activities. That's what he likes to say that.
There's room for activities.
I got room for activities. Got room for days. I can stretch my arms out in both directions. Look. How are you?
I'm not bad. Not bad at all, Amy. I've had a long week, as you all know, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't in for the latest episode of the Words About Games podcast. You had the amazing Keith tagging in for me, where you had the original crew, basically, wasn't it? Back together. The OG, or 2/3 of the OG, back together, bringing it all in, allegedly, and doing all the things. I have to drop it for him. But yeah, doing all the things, and yeah, it was a fun time. It was a fun listen. I won't lie. It was a very fun listen.
It was a slow news week, so you didn't really miss all that much.
I saw.
But we had fun. We always do. See, this is the thing. This is the thing about these podcasts, where it's just like, I try my best to keep them friendly and conversational. I was about to say confrontational. I've been on the wrong word. I'm very tired. Moody knows. Conversational and like, you know, it's just a chat between friends. So even when like nothing's going on and we've really got nothing to talk too much to talk about, it still feels like an hour and a half.
That's true. To answer your question, no.
Okay, I don't remember what the question was.
You asked me if the podcast is up on the audio feed. It says not.
It took ages to upload, and it wasn't gone, and it was like 1 a.m. and I think I abandoned it. I'll do it after this. It's fine.
I don't know, so you know.
It's fine. It was already late, so whatever. This is a weekly review. We've got 3 games to talk about this week. We're talking about It Takes Two. We're talking about Genesis Noir. And we're talking about Evil Inside. Game that was advertised on the PlayStation YouTube channel. I want everybody to keep that in mind when I go ahead and talk about it later in this podcast.
Okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Let's get going. You haven't talked about a game for like a month, so I'm gonna sit here and I'm like, hey, it's time to talk about It Takes Two. Moody, take it away.
It Takes Two, ladies and gentlemen, is an action-adventure platform developed by Hazel Light Studios. You know that guy, fuck the Oscars guy type of guy. You all remember him, even though deep down he wishes he was at the Oscars. And published by Electronic Arts under EA Originals label. The game has been released on Windows, PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xboxes, and that's it. Basically, that's what's in here. It's been as you all know, Josef Fares, that's the guy's name, the fuck the Oscars guy type of thing, and he's been laboring this as a game that we will not expect, and you should be excited for. Amy, we have played what 3
Here's
hours?
the question, Rudy. Does Josef Fares owe you $1,000?
Does Josef Fares owe me $1,000?
Yeah, because we
Shit,
talked about
I
it on the
remember this
podcast.
reference. I remember this reference.
Does Josef Fares owe you $1,000? He said it's impossible to get bored playing It Takes Two, and anyone who did get bored, he would give them $1,000.
That's it. That's what I remember.
Does he owe you
Well,
$1,000?
I can't say yes or no to that right now because we haven't finished the game.
I was
Going
with
off
you.
what we've played,
Don't
no,
lie.
no, he does not owe me $1,000. As much as I want to say yes, this game is amazing.
As much as I want $1,000.
Yeah, as much as I would love $1,000 or £1,000 for us in the UK, 1,000 sterling. This game is going off what we've played so far, which I believe is what 3-4 hours in,
3 hours.
give or take.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Is absolutely amazing.
It is.
It is so good, so endearing. So the story is taking you places, and you just we were saying it during the stream. By the end of us, we're going to be crying. We know we are. We're going to be like, "Oh, for God's sakes, man! Like seriously." And if they give us a choice, which I haven't looked at things or anything like that. I haven't read reviews or anything.
Good.
Like I've checked on like the Open Critic score just because of Fantasy Critic and obviously our head-to-head thing. But other than that, I haven't read anything because I don't want to. I like to just go in and think, get my own opinions on it. And this game, visually beautiful as hell. It's so unique, the visual style they've done for this game. It's so good. But what has surprised me so more from a developer standpoint, for me alone, just because obviously, as you know, if you know, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm obviously studying to become a video game developer, the things they have put in this makes this one of the most unique and endearing games I've played, I'm going to say, in the last 2 years. This has so many different takes of different gameplay styles. It's amazing. You have third-person shooting in there. You have throwing mechanics. You have a fighting mechanic in there, which came out of nowhere. A flying mechanic. A jumping mechanic. You've got so many mechanics that make this game so unique. And you were enthralled with the characters who you're playing. You love the characters, even though they are both pain in the asses. And you understand why they may want to, not going to spoil anything, go in separate directions type of thing. But you understand, but you can see that love in them still. And it's so well done so far. And I can't wait for you and me to play this again later on earlier in the week, this week coming up. And I'm just excited. I want to play more of this game right away. This game, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing right now. I've already put it on my great level, on my scale. It could get to next level if it goes the way I'm not gonna put it up there until I've finished it, because it's not fair for me to say, I think personally. But yeah, this is for now is a great game for what I've played. So
I don't think we have to worry about spoilers about things that are in the first cutscene. because that's just the premise.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Like, I wasn't bored. I wasn't surprised that this game was great because I think A Way Out is underrated, and everybody who didn't like it sucks. Go figure.
Way Out is amazing.
I'm right, you're wrong. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you see what they've taken from Way Out, and there are some negatives to Way Out. There's no doubt about it. But Way Out is still a great game. They've taken the negatives from this, and they've just fixed it for me. Going off from the first few hours I've played so far, they've fixed the negatives, and they've made this just a great co-op experience.
It is a really good co-op experience. Like, it's like we get into the fundamentals and whatnot. I was worried you were going to try to drown yourself there.
I'm a thirsty boy.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's a great co-op game. Like, we'll get into the fundamentals of like gameplay and mechanics and etc. 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 But like on the top level, like I really enjoyed It Takes Two. Like I've had a great week. I've had a great few weeks with games. I think. Like I think I complained, and then my complaining fixed them.
It did, yeah. Amy started bitching, and then game started coming out.
You can say, "Oh, it was just a coincidence," but you know what? I don't think it was. So, It Takes Two. We played it on stream on Friday night, which is like the day it came out. Yeah, it was the day it came out, and I had a blast. Like I knew I would, because like playing games with you is always fun. And playing like this co-op, like it's the way the co-op is designed around. Like the game, the whole game is designed around co-op. It's like A Way Out. You can't play it by yourself. You can't play it with an AI partner. You have to play it with somebody else. So the game doesn't have to compromise its cooperative experience for so that it can be played. Like, no, you have to play it with someone else. If you don't have a friend, it's cool. You can use Friend Pass. That's all we've done. We just use Friend Pass, and all you have to do is like download the game and then get an invitation from someone who's in the game. It's great, but like it's the way everything splits off. So like there's lots of times in this game where you're running around and you're both in the boat, or you're both shooting the wasps, or whatever other crazy thing you're doing this time around, because every chapter has a completely new gameplay twist. And then there's plenty of times where you separate and you have to do something to let me progress for then me to do something to let you progress, or vice versa. And I love shit like that. Like, I think that's fucking great. I always love it when games are designed like that. Like the thing with the platforms where it's like you have to throw your nail because you're playing like tiny doll characters in a normal size world. Yeah, it's like you're throwing your nail to stop the platform so I can jump on them. And then, you're calling nail back, the platform moves, and then I'm like doing the platforming while you're putting the platforms up, and we're trying to coordinate it, and we're really bad at coordinating things because, we're terrible at cooperation a lot of the time.
We just fight against each other.
And then, we do. We just fight. I mean, the stream, a few times we just try to murder each other.
We did, yeah. We actually did, yeah.
The whack-a-mole sequence springs to mind.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying I can hit you with this hammer? Oh, hell yeah. I want to do that. I want to do that right now. But like, I love that asymmetric gameplay. Like, and that's my favorite part of A Way Out. It's my favorite part of A Way Out. It's also my favorite part of It Takes Two. Is like how that works, because it's just great to not approach a part of a game that's designed around co-op and think, and like see that compromise that I was talking about. There's dust on top of my webcam. I could see it because the ring light's right above it. Yeah, like it's not a compromise. Like this is like I said this a few weeks ago about another game, and I'll say it again. Like this is the game that Josef Fares and company wanted to make. And they did not compromise a single thing about it.
Yeah, with how many different mechanics they have in this, they haven't compromised anything. They've gone full on Looney Tune on this, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
they did.
absolutely amazing.
Sherlock Holmes did this, and a game like this always it's always wonderful to play because um every 30 minutes you're doing something different than what you were just doing.
Yeah.
So like
Really,
even if
really
you're
good.
not digging what you're doing right now, don't worry about it because pretty soon you'll be doing something completely different and maybe you'll dig that more. And I'll be honest, there was no part where I was like, I don't enjoy this. But,
Mhm.
like I enjoyed everything they did. I'm trying to remember like everything we did. Like there was platforming, and then we had the platforming, but we had the tools, and then there was the third person shooting when we got involved in the war with between the squirrels and the wasps.
They turned into a Street Fighter part.
And then it was like we were escaping on the plane, went made of the box. It's a whole, and the imagination as well.
Yeah.
But like, there's no part of this game where I think, ooh, this is the part they rushed, or this is the part that they didn't spend too much time on, or they didn't polish this. This is the part that, you know what I mean. Everything works pretty well. Like none of it like is best in class, right? So like the fighting part like isn't as good as Mortal Kombat. The third person shooting isn't as good as, I don't know, insert favorite third person shooter here. I'm not grabbing that hornet's nest. But like it's never
As long as
never
it's
as
not
good
Gears,
as
it's alright.
it's never as good as like a good version of it, but it's good enough.
Yeah.
Like I could sit here and nitpick it. Like platforming's a little bit floaty sometimes. Yeah, sure. The shooting's a little bit, like the aiming's a little bit weird. I mean, but my experience is completely different to Moody's experience because we were using different things to get across levels. So like,
Yeah.
you know,
I was the tank.
yeah,
on that part, yeah.
in the shooting sections, for example, like you were using the was it like a mod? I wasn't really watching what you were doing.
It was basically just a giant machine gun.
Yeah, and obviously I had the gun that like I shot the
The tank,
nectar
basically.
to explode it. So we had completely different experiences from that. And then like you're talking about the flying mechanics of the plane, and it's like, well, I wasn't doing that because I was shooting in the turret or fighting a squirrel on top of the plane while you were trying to fly it in Street Fighter mode. But
Yeah.
yeah, like
I love the boss fights. The two boss fights were so unique and so, especially the first one.
Actually,
The first one was just like,
yeah,
what the hell is happening here? Oh god, we're gonna die here, Amy, type of thing.
the vacuum cleaner one was fun, but like because we fought a lot more than two bosses.
Yeah, we fought 3. Yeah, I just fought. We did the vacuum cleaner.
There was mini bosses as well. I'm just watching you kill me.
Yeah.
But I know like there was mini bosses. There was the beetle. There was the mortar wasp. But yeah, no, the second boss for me, I was like, the first boss was, I was like, yeah, that was okay, you know, like what, it was fine. And then we did the second boss where it was the toolbox, and like like I talk about this sometimes when I'm talking about games, like games that do escalation really well. Like I talk about this because I've written most of my controller perspective, and I talk about this in the controller perspective, where it's like I can get obsessed with really minute details about video games.
Yeah.
Like that's why I make YouTube videos. And one of those things is escalation. You don't hear many people probably getting hyped for escalation, but like the way that boss fight escalates is just great. Where it's just like, first it's just like, don't get killed, fucko. And you try not to get killed, and you're trying to figure out what to do, and then you figure out what to do, and then you do the thing that you're trying to do, as long as moves doesn't keep missing. And then you get to, and then I've got to do my bit, and then it gets to stage 2, and like there's the moment of pure joy and terror as like the buzzsaw appears and starts cutting the level up from out of nowhere, and like the platform we're on is getting smaller, and holes have been punched in it, and like it's just the fucking best.
Yeah.
Like that boss fight is one of the best things I've played in a 2021 game.
all 3 boss fights, main boss fights, have all been different. They haven't
Very
been the
different,
same. Yeah, they all have been different, and that's what's so good about it. They aren't sticking to one trope, which a lot of video games do, especially big AAA games and everything. But this one is they've mixed it up. They mix it up so much. I can't wait to see what they've done for when we play it again, to see what
What's
we're doing
next?
next. What's our next weapons? What are we going to be using next? What crazy idea have they come up with for me to probably have a teddy bear as a weapon or something? You know?
Who knows? Like, that's
Who
what's great
knows?
about it. Like, there is something to that. Like, it's not something most games could pull off, like, very successfully. And again, like, I think if a game like Mass Effect, to bring up something you just said, like, had like every 30 minutes was a different type of game, that would ruin the experience of Mass Effect. Like, but with It Takes Two, it is just that thing of like, yeah, we're gonna play it again on Tuesday night, and for another few hours, and we're gonna play like 4 or 5 more different games. Like, it feels like within the
Yeah,
same
that's what it
game,
seems like. It, yeah.
and like I say, the gameplay mechanics are good enough, and then the level of imagination and creativity that's gone into every aspect of the game, the story, the gameplay, the different types of gameplay, the world.
The
Like,
aesthetic. Yeah.
you were there when we were streaming it, and I was fucking losing my shit at how ridiculous you go to the tree and you meet the squirrels, and the squirrels are all like these soldiers, and they've all got these ridiculous weapons that they've stolen from the house, and it's like they're fighting a war with the wasps, and the wasp like queen, they've replaced the wasp queen with a robot wasp, but the robot wasp was corrupted by the power, and I was like, this is so weird and so random, and it's so hilarious, and I love it.
I agree. It was bonkers. It was insane, and it is so good, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't played this game, man, like seriously, go out and give it a go. Like I said, co-op the crap out of this, and I'll say this: what Joseph asked you, I will be very surprised if you get bored of this game, if you find a boring element of this game.
Like, I kind of want to call this podcast just Joseph Farah's owe us $1,000.
Yeah, does Joseph Fares owe us $1,000?
And the immediate
I'll tweet
answer
that
is
out.
no, he doesn't, and I don't think he will.
No.
Like, even if something like isn't working for me, like in a gameplay aspect, like let's say for example, the next part of the game is boring, to use Joseph Fares' word. Like, the gameplay or whatever is boring. Like, the characters are still going to be entertaining and endearing and funny. I'm still going to be playing it with you. We're still going to be bantering backwards and forwards. Like, I don't think it's possible for me to be bored.
Yeah, I agree.
For the rest of the game, and I don't want to talk too deeply into the story or the characters this week, because we'll be playing it at least twice over the next week, and I imagine
I'll be surprised by the time we do our next impressions video, we haven't finished this.
It's pretty long from what I've heard.
We want to get on to Monster Hunter Rise, that's all.
Yeah, it's pretty long from what I've heard, though, so I don't think that's physically possible. With our schedule, it's like 15 hours long, supposedly. But yeah, this is part 1 of 2 of a main thing. Like, we're gonna dump more time into it. Like, we could have held off like we've done with other AAA games and given it a week to like really get into the game, but yeah, schedules and stuff, and it was just like, yeah, like, even, you know what, even if we planned to be like, let's stay with It Takes Two until next week, I probably still would have then played it on Friday and gone, I can't not talk about this game. It was too much fun. It was too much fun. Like, I gotta talk about it.
I agree. So I've just had a look. It says total chapters are 7. And it's roughly 12 to 15 hours. So if I'm going off right, we've done 3 chapters. So we're basically halfway there almost.
We've only played for 3 hours, Mooney. Unless we're speedrunning the game, I don't think we're halfway through it.
Or we're coming up to it, maybe. I don't know.
And I mean, I'm good at some video games, but you know what? I've never been a speedrunner.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying we have to speedrun it. I'm not saying that. So.
Oh, no. No, I'm just saying I don't think we're as far into it as you think. Plus, the chapters could get longer. That's
Yeah,
always a
that's true.
possibility. Where's my lid? There's my lid. And right now we're just rambling
Yeah.
while the gameplay plays to our right. I guess if you're looking at the screen, yeah, whatever. It's on the screen. Just look at it. It's pretty great. I'm about to beat Moody in a minigame.
That one
Fun.
sucked.
Tug of war. Not the one you think
Oh,
of.
it took a while.
The plunger one. No. If I was,
I can't rapidly press a button very fast. I'm terrible at it.
no, this is the tug of war. I said I beat you. If we were talking about the plunger minigame,
You
I would have said
annihilated me.
the game I annihilated you.
Yeah, you abused me.
No, I abused you when you got yourself sucked into the death torture machine. Look out for some really good highlights coming next month from our March Twitch streaming highlight reel.
Yeah. Got a few different games though that month as well. We got
I know, right?
Dead Space,
And we basically
Among Us.
took 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Like
Dead
imagine
Space, Among Us. It Takes Two.
this, no Phasmophobia. But imagine what we could do, Moody. Imagine what we could do if we actually streamed for a month.
Who knows what will happen after next week, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm streaming probably 3 times this week, coming week. So you know.
And I'll probably be streaming Among Us this Saturday.
I was gonna say I was probably doing an Among Us. That was the third.
Oh, yeah? Oh, go on, climb over. I'm easy.
And then you can have the next one. I want to do the new map, but like as the camera streaming person for the first time. I've already thought of a great name for myself on Among Us next week while we're playing the new map. I'll tell you off camera. Because people who play Among Us with us watch this stream. Watch this podcast. Very tired, everybody. Cool. So that was It Takes Two. I look forward to us talking more in depth about the story and the characters next week. And probably about some of our other new favorite gameplay mechanics. Well, actually, before we finish talking about It Takes Two, what was your favorite mechanic? What was your favorite part? I'm gonna ask you that.
The toolbox fight. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
The toolbox boss fight was my favorite part as well. Like the stuff leading up to it was great.
The most wackiest is the B part. Is the B fight.
Oh my god.
The whole element.
The B fight was nuts. Like I said, like the intro to it though, the cutscene and the whole like the world, but like when you find the fucking like I don't know, like they've drawn all of their history on the walls. And you're like looking at it and it's just you get at the part where it's just like the squirrels stealing everything from the house. Like the pair of sunglasses. And it's just like someone at Hazelight Studios who came up with this, like who wrote this section of the game had a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Whoever the writers are, which obviously we can surmise Faris is one of them.
Yeah, Josef Faris is the lead writer. I think he said it on interviews and stuff. Because I watched an interview with him. It was on the Future Games show, man. It Takes Two was on the Future Games show, because that was how I knew about the Underpants plane. Like before, like, you know, when you see a glimpse of it, and then it's like, and you were like, is that a plane? And I was like, ah.
I did say
it was on the Future Games show. And Josef Fares, he's the writer, the director, and the founder of Hazelight. Is he the book? Is he voicing the book?
I honestly don't know.
I can't bother looking it up. We're just gonna look it up.
Oh yeah.
I can't stretch this It Takes Two section out any further, so
that's true. Move on.
Faster, mush. Find the answer. Come on. You're typing again. Like, what did you mistype?
Yes.
Honestly, this is why we're getting a divorce. Shit like this. That's why we're getting a divorce. Like, I've already stopped the gameplay fight. I mean, there's nothing happening right now. was supposed to take you 10 seconds.
That's not taking me 10 seconds. Get over it.
It's not me I'm worried about. This is a podcast. There are people probably not watching anymore.
He's not the voice of the book.
All right, cool. Then let's move on. No, it's over. We're done. Let's move on to Genesis Noir. So I held a Twitter poll a couple weeks ago. Because like 16,000 games came out last week. That all looked quite interesting, and I couldn't decide what to play. So I narrowed it down to 4. And then I said, I'll play the top 1 or 2. Like, everybody vote on whatever you want. I linked all of the games, I linked the 4 games, their Steam pages, so you could see what they were. And people voted, and the top 2 were Evil Inside and Genesis Noir, and I realized my mistake. In that both of those games, Moody, came out on the Thursday of the week. So I had like more than half a week waiting for 3 games to come out in the span of 24 hours. 3 days before a podcast recorded. To say that mistakes were made is probably an understatement. But you live and learn.
Okay, Joseph Fares more capped the book.
Okay, I don't care. This isn't It Takes Two anymore. This is Genesis Noir. Get over it. So, you had your chance. You blew it. So,
but I still get there in the end.
Evil Inside. That's what Sophia tells me. So, Evil Inside and Genesis Noir were the 2 games that won. And it's probably for the best in one regard, because Tunche didn't come out. And what I mean by that is, it didn't get delayed. Like, the studio didn't go, hey, we have to delay our game. There was no delay. It was supposed to come out on a day, and then it didn't.
Yeah.
And then the Nintendo Switch store page updated to TVD, and no one knows what the hell's going on. And the other one, I can't even remember, was the Paradise Lost game, which, I'll be honest, I wasn't massively interested in playing to begin with.
Is that the one I picked?
I don't know. I can't see who voted for what. But Evil Inside was number 1. Genesis Noir was number 2. Genesis Noir was on Game Pass, so I was able to pre-install it and play it pretty rapidly. Now, I don't really have any food around here to serve as a metaphor, because I'm going to eat, like, things I've said on this podcast, words I've said on this podcast, I'm going to eat a lot of them right now. So, the number 1 was, oh man, 2021, like, has gotten off to a ropey start. And then I look back at all of the games that we've played, or I've played in the last few weeks, and think, oh, yeah, that's not true anymore. Number 2, last week when we were talking about Everhood, and I said, this is the weirdest game I've played all year. This is going to be the weirdest game of 2021. And then you said, how can you say that? And I went, I just can't, because Everhood is so weird, nothing's going to top it. Cut to 5 days later. I'm banging my desk for emphasis. I played Genesis motherfucking Noir. The weirdest game I've played in 2021.
Genesis Noir.
For starters, the title is literal, right? Genesis Noir, and I'll get into that in a second. So the premise of the game, and I'm not actually going to butcher it this time. You know how I normally make my own one up, and it's not great, and like, I couldn't do justice to Genesis Noir. So I'm going to read what it says on Steam. A noir adventure spanning time and space. When a love triangle between cosmic beings becomes a bitter confrontation, you'll witness a gunshot fired by a jealous god, otherwise known as the Big Bang. Jump into the expanding universe and search for a way to destroy creation and save your love. That's the description of this game. So I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. Fuck is this game?
Oh, of course. That's definitely what I was thinking.
I don't know what the hell it says, but I'm interested to find out. And I found out, and Moody, this is one of my favorite games I've played so far this year. I love it. Oh, I have no idea what's happening, but I love it. And I mean that literally. So yeah, so it's this. So if you imagine, so when you start the game, the very first thing you're doing is, and it's got a very distinct art style. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see it right now. It's all whites and blacks with a little bit of color thrown in every now and again. Um, but it's a noir. It's a noir set at Genesis, the creation of the universe. So the title of the game, for starters, is literal, but how it represents all of this is, so you're playing a character who inhabits a world called a constant, which exists before the creation of the universe. Um, so you're all like cosmic beings, gods, deities, whatever you want to call them. And the game starts off. You're on a street because it's a noir, so it's like imagine everything's 1930s Chicago, and like the very first thing you do is your guy with the trench coat and the hat is just standing on the street corner, and there's a crowd in the distance. The game doesn't tell you what do next. It's an adventure game, so it's kind of point and click in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
So you start clicking on the people in the crowd, and you bring them over, and then like you go like, and you sell them pocket watches. You just selling people pocket watches, and then you go home after someone gives you some underpants instead of some money, and then you run home, and then you've got this phone number, and then you have to dial it on a rotary phone, which is going to flummox anyone from all the generations behind us, who aren't going to know what the fuck a rotary phone is or how it works. And then it's like you run over to I guess your girlfriend's house, and there's the guy who's the golden boy who's about to shoot it, and he shoots and he pulls the trigger on the gun, and then the gunshot. Every time you drink some stuff, time slows down, and then the gunshot is the big bang, and then like you've got the wake of the gunshot going towards the woman, and like your job is to stop it and save her somehow. The gunshot and everything inside the wake of the gunshot is the ever expanding universe, and within there you've got to explore to find a way to destroy the universe. And if you're thinking,
Okay.
what the fuck? Yeah, right. I know, right? And yet I can't stop playing it, and I love it. I don't know what's happening. There's so much metaphor and imagery and visual, everything going on in this game, and I'm like, I don't understand like 10%. I understand maybe 15, 20% of this game. And yet, like, I've loved every minute of it. Like, it never tells you what you're doing. You have to figure literally everything out for yourself. Like you find some seeds and you plant the seeds so you can make bridges to like get to other places. And every time you plant a seed, it starts a new mini game like the one that's on the screen right now. And it's just you move the bar backwards and forwards, and the ground moves. And I don't know what I'm trying to do with the objective of this, but I figured it out. And the plant grew and there you go. You see, I did it. And then there's a tree, and I got some seed, and the bridge happened, and I was like, cool. And then I just moved on to the next thing, the next weird, surreal thing that happened, and that's the game. Basically, in a nutshell, it's amazing, but I can't really explain why.
Okay. So what kind of game is this?
So
is this a platformer? Or
no, it's very much an adventure game. So if you like point and click, this is the closest sort of analogy I can give to it. You kind of switch between sort of like walking around places, and like again like more traditional sort of point and click stuff. So you'll have like a like right now on the screen in the gameplay, it's like you've got the scene in front of you, and you've got a pointer basically, and then you're either picking stuff up, or you're interacting with stuff, or you're like doing the magnifying glassy thing on stuff to get a description of it, whatever. In this case, I'm popping the hearts that are appearing with the pointer in the dance club. So it's probably most closely associated with an adventure game, I would say.
All right. It's not working for you.
I don't really know how to.
If the answer's nothing, then
I don't
you
think
can't really-
anything's not working for me. Like, it's the weirdest. It's a weird sensation to not really be understanding what's happening, but at the same time, the way that the game sets itself out and tells its story, and the imagery and the setting and the atmosphere and the metaphor, the ones that I'm picking up on anyway, like, it's a weird feeling to not understand everything, but to still really enjoy it. And it happens. I'm not the smartest person in the world, like, by a long shot. Like, there's still tons of stuff I don't understand, but I still enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's just magnificent. I don't know why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, but they work. So I'm gonna keep going. Like, you can't sort of figure out, like, you are kind of, because you're like exploring the ever expanding universe. There is like a linear time passage you can sort of grasp a hold of, where it's like you start off and there's no one anywhere really around, and by the time you're sort of getting into the sort of the midpoint of the game, you know, you're meeting the hunter gatherers, right? Like, there's a whole thing about tracking down a deer, and there's like cave people like around hunting the deer as well, who seem really startled to see you, 1930s Chicago style dressed man in a fedora and a trench coat,
I can believe that.
being like, what the fuck? But like, it's, but yeah, it works for me in terms of I'm enjoying what's happening.
Oh, that's good.
And I think it's the intended effect as well, because I tweeted about it, and I literally said, I don't know what's happening, but I'm excited. Like, I used the GIF from Friends. I have no idea what's happening, but I'm excited. And it was liked by the develop, like, one of the developers. So I was like, I think this is the intended effect. Like,
I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited. Yeah,
no, I don't. But it's fun. You just click around, figure out what to do. Some stuff happens. Like, it rewards imagination as well, where it's just like, wait, what if I throw this rock? Boom, there, it worked. All right, cool. Well, the only interactables are the rocks, so I'm going to do it again. And then you do it again, and it's like, okay, well, that's the only thing. It's still, then you do it again, and then the giant man standing in the water on the shoreline starts playing a saxophone a bit, and then like, okay, now I can't throw any rocks.
Yeah.
But I can click on my own character and start applauding. Oh, now he's playing the saxophone again, and more stuff's happening. I'm gonna keep clapping, and it's just like, it's so wonderful.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it's a really fun game. What you're looking at, I've just added it to my wish list on Game Pass. So
I was about to say it's a Game Pass. Yeah, I think I mentioned it, but it's a Game Pass game. So
yeah.
There's no harm in trying it out. It's like 4-ish hours long, I think.
Well, I like those type of games. So with
very-
my schedule and everything like that, and we've got like big games that were coming up that are gonna take up our time. I'm trying to find that right balance to try and get something played as well. So
Yeah, like,
and I've got Dead Space to finish as well. So
I've heard that before. I'm just kidding.
a bit mean to me.
I'm always mean to you.
I know, but you're being a little bit more mean. You tortured me in It Takes Two. Is that not enough for you?
No.
Did that not satisfy your craving?
No, I didn't. Yeah, like, the music's fantastic. If you like jazz, obviously.
Ooh,
It's a noir game. So
they got it right. If they got it right, I don't mind a bit of jazz sometimes.
it's good. Like, it's not to the, like, I'd probably listen to it on Spotify, but it's not to the point where I would, like, it's not to the point of like the Persona 5 soundtrack where I'd throw out an entire podcast section going, this isn't a drill. The soundtrack's available, but it is pretty good. You know, it's nice background music to what you're doing on the screen. The graphics are incredible. I love the art style, like, a lot. And again, yeah, it's so weird. And you know me, Moody. Give me the weird game. I love weird games. Paradise Killer, this, Everhood, like, I'm not going to say that this is going to be the weirdest game of 2021. I made that mistake last week.
You've learnt your lesson.
And I've learned. So I will not say that.
Fabulous.
It's one of my favorite games of the year so far, though.
Yeah, 4 months. Come up 4 months in. Finally getting some games. That's the thing about it. The games starting to come. That's the thing about it.
Oh yeah, like the last what 4 podcast episodes have been like I feel like I've just been really positive. Like this, It Takes Two, Loop Hero, Brave Default. Like Brave Default annoys me now though. Like appeared too far behind the curtain. What was funny about that was I actually obviously follow Rebecca Valentine on Twitter, and she was talking about how the end of the game, how annoying the end of the game is, and I was like, it's not just me.
Like my aim is to crack onto that when I'm off and everything, because I'm off obviously from next week. So
that's cool. Like play it. Yeah, if you want to play it, play it. Definitely.
I've got plans. I've got that. I've added that Noir to the list. Probably have a crack on maybe one day. Like I'm trying to find the balance for myself in my life and everything, because I'm obviously setting up myself up to go back into exercise mode again for myself. So
yeah, of course.
I'll like I'm going off for like a proper schedule for myself, and I'm just gonna be like boom, 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 boom.
As we spend the rest of the 9 months of 2021, hopefully very slowly figuring out how to live life again. Because I don't think people are prepared for the shock of.
Well, hopefully, when we go back into lockdown, we'll be in our own place, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true. Like we are. We were literally talking about this today, where it's just like, hey, they're going to open everything up again in the middle of April. So the next lockdown should happen in around about summertime.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get this done.
Because that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
That's what living in the UK has been for the last year. Genesis Noir is great. You should definitely check it out. If you have Game Pass, you ain't really got much excuse not to check it out, and you definitely should. Let's move on to the last game. Now, Moody, I don't have any gameplay footage of this game. I sat down to play it last night after we'd finished playing Among Us. I forgot to hit record on OBS, and I just went, I ain't playing that again. To get the footage again and play the footage, so you're just gonna have to put up looking at our two faces while I explain what Evil Inside is and what I thought of it. Evil Inside is a first-person horror game where somebody played PT and went, I could do that. But you know what PT really needs? More loud noises. So the game looked interesting. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I found out about this game because it was a PS5 advertised game on the PlayStation YouTube channel. And it looked interesting. Like the graphics looked good. They look solid.
Yeah.
It was PT reminiscent, which is always good because PT was a phenomenal game and one of the best horror experiences I've ever had.
Is it a game? I thought it was just like a...
It's a playable teaser, but the game never came out. So as far as I just call it a game.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it had an ending. It had puzzles.
It's not me being a jerk. I've never played it, ladies and gentlemen, so I can't comment. I always heard it was just a demo.
It was a playable teaser. That's what PT stood for. For Silent Hills. Evil Inside.
Which might finally get announced with this shit, maybe.
Evil Inside. And I hate being negative. Evil Inside basically misses the point of what PT was trying to do. Whilst being, if I want to be charitable, I could call it PT adjacent. Like, you literally walk in a loop the same way you do in PT. It's an L-shaped corridor. They've added a room, so when you go down the stairs to go through the door, there's a room there. And then you go through another door, and that's when you start the loop all over again. But you can go upstairs too. But like halfway down the thing on the corridor, there's the door, there's the drawers. You look up, there's the balcony to the upstairs bit, the same as it was in the house in PT. They moved the bathroom, so at least they put that in a different place. But
surely weren't plagiarizing it at all.
No, it's not plagiarism. It's inspiration.
joking,
It's just incredibly obvious. And it's just like, you could have probably obfuscated this a bit. And it wouldn't annoy me so much if the game was good. Like, if you took homage from PT and you made a great horror game out of it, cool, fair enough. But you didn't make a great horror game out of it. 10 minutes into this game, you walk into a room, and it's like, this. You know what? The atmosphere is pretty creepy. Like, contemporary settings in horror games that are just a little bit off are always quite creepy. Like a house that's just not quite right, because you've been in houses. You live in a house, hopefully. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it works. And then you walk into this room, and then the fucking giant baby head appears, and it screams at you, like, really loud, like, ah! And it's just like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of game, isn't it? And sure enough, every, like, 5 minutes, there's a really loud noise and a jump scare, and it's not scary. Constant jump scares and incredibly loud noises are startling, sure. Not scary if there's nothing really going on. If there's not, like, the way I would say it, I'm going to make a comparison between this and PT, and I know it's kind of a dick move, because this is an indie game made by an indie team, and PT was made by Hideo Kojima and a team from Konami. But I'm going to do it anyway, because, hell, the game looks like PT. In PT, when you're doing your loops, at one point you walk down the corridor and you've got the balcony thing up to the upstairs that I mentioned, and the ghost lady, entity, whatever, is standing up there looking down at you. So if you look up, you'll see her and be like, oh shit. Like, you can miss it because you just don't look up. And then you carry on your way. So it's either a spooky moment or it's not a spooky moment. In Evil Inside, that moment is replicated, except your camera control is taken away as you look up at it, as it makes a loud noise in your headphones, because like you have to see this. It's super scary, and that's the difference. And that's what I mean by when I say like they missed the mark completely. Like PT had jump scares. PT has one of the worst jump scares I've ever experienced in my entire life. But it's scary because one, it's one of like 2 jump scares in the entire experience. And 2, like the game itself is scary. Like it builds an atmosphere of dread. It builds a creepy atmosphere. It's very unsettling to play. And Evil Inside just isn't. Like, you're just constantly being shouted at by the game. And it's super annoying. And that's impressive, considering it's 45 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. 45 minutes long
It's 45 minutes long. Give or take. Give or take getting stuck on a puzzle, which is super simple. Yeah, I was as surprised as anyone. Like, I found the end of the game, and it happened, and that was it. It was over. And I was like, I mean, I'm kind of relieved because I really wasn't enjoying it.
Is there anything that appealed? Like just like the last game.
No, like
didn't work for you.
The first few minutes show promise, and then it shows its hand as a jump scare, a thon, and it could be funny to play with a group of friends, like, and everybody going every time the game decides to try and perforate your eardrums, like, but Moody, I started laughing at the jump scares. Like, it's like the house and the environment is really well rendered. And it looks slick. It looks really slick. But then it's like the other assets, the giant baby face, the woman ghost, like they're from a completely different game. And they've just been dropped into this game because they needed a model of a character or of a face. Like, there's a moment, like, partway through the game, and again, I'm describing something that took me less than an hour. Like, you can watch an episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier in less time, It'll take in more time than it takes you to finish this game, and like a baby appears, like a full-on model of a baby with a diaper on, and it's big. It's as big as you are, and it appears as part of a jump scare. So naturally, there's really loud noise. I just started laughing. And then a bit later on, like the woman ghost thing comes running at you, screaming, and again I was just laughing.
Oh god, that's definitely not what a horror game, film, anything doesn't want to
I
do.
just
Does not
started
want to
finding
make
it
you
funny.
laugh. Yeah.
Like, and then you get to the ending, and there's a twist ending that like is obvious from like 5 minutes into the game, and it goes out of its way to make sure you know what's going on, and it super over explains itself, and it missed the mark on so many things. And PlayStation advertised this game on its YouTube channel and because PS5 games in general, like not backwards compatible PS4 games, PS5 games, pretty thin on the ground right now. I was excited by a horror game that was a PS5 game.
That's probably why they did it, because they didn't have any games right now.
Well, God, yeah, I don't advertise that.
But you can't think it could be this developer going, "Yo, can we pay you to do this?"
A 45-minute, £10 horror game on their YouTube channel. That I'm sorry, it's just not very good. And I'm not alone. You can go on. And I don't use take this with a massive amount of salt. I don't use OpenCritic to prove any point, but you can go on OpenCritic, and I'm not the only person who thinks this.
There's not even a score on Metacritic, so I've seen.
It's just not great, and it bums me out because I hate talking shit about things people have created. But at the same time, this is a review podcast, and I've got to be honest.
You have to be honest, yeah. Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to be honest and like, yo, if a game doesn't work for us, we're going to be honest. We're just going to say, yo, it didn't work for me, type of thing. And it's, if it doesn't work for you,
just dial the atmosphere like that. If somehow the developers are watching, maybe, I don't know. They're probably not, because like, what are the odds, right? But if like dial that atmosphere from the very beginning of the game up, take out most of the jump scares, right? Most of them. Maybe keep like one or two. Don't over-explain your story, and make everything subtle. Like, take those scares that you want to put in, just make them really subtle. Maybe there's someone just peering around a doorway, and then when you look directly at them, they're gone. Don't have a freaking giant baby head appear in front of me as the first scary thing that happens. It screams.
Yeah. I won't lie, it seems like they've took the idea. They haven't just took an idea from PT. I'm not tooting my own horn here. Like a few years ago, I did a game jam where we literally had a scare right at the beginning, just for the shits and giggles, and it was like a baby scream at you.
Yeah, it's like,
is it someone from my college who left?
It's funny, maybe. It's funny, and I jump. Like, it's funny for you, and it's funny for people, like, hypothetically watching, even though I wasn't streaming it. And I jumped, startled, but it kills the atmosphere instantly, because it lets the tension go, right?
Yeah.
And then when you repeat the same trick every 5 minutes, it's like the tension is gone. There's no tension. And you need tension in a horror game. Alien Isolation, you didn't see the bloody alien for the first 3 hours of the game. There's a reason.
And yet you felt it.
Yeah, but you were terrified of it.
Yeah. You knew it was there, and you were just thinking, oh my god, is that it? That's why it took you probably 15 hours to get to that part. Because you were too scared to move. Because you knew what was coming.
I go back to the save point. I'll try again tomorrow. But yeah, like, it sucks to say it, but it missed completely.
Well, that's disappointing.
Thanks, Twitter, for voting that game to the top of the thing and making it the #1 game. But no, actually, that was quite fun to like take the decision of what games to play out of my hands completely. So I think I'm going to do that like more often. I'm going to do that every now and again, and just like let the people of Twitter decide what games I play and talk about on this podcast from time to time.
Oh, but you know what happens when you have a democratic vote? we get what we have now.
I played Genesis Noir, which was amazing. So, it worked. It ultimately didn't, but that's beside the point that I'm trying to make. Shut up. That's it. I don't think we have anything else to really talk about. We don't have a special topic.
Our aim, I think, will be for next week is probably more takes to the new level of Among Us.
Yeah, we'll definitely actually do a podcast thing about that next week because it's worth talking about.
Yeah,
might try and bring someone on from the streams to talk as well,
and hopefully maybe some Monster Hunter Rise, but we're not fully sure yet. Obviously, we've got to try and balance things. We're trying to balance things out, I think. Because Monster Hunter is something that you may want to play together. The same goes for Outriders. I think just so we can both have the same.
We'll talk about schedules and stuff, but next week we'll definitely be talking about the new map on Among Us. We'll definitely be talking about more It Takes Two. I also want to play Evil Genius too, so I'll probably be talking about that next week.
Cool.
I like it on my own time. Other video stuff, we've got a really funny clip coming up this week from an Among Us stream. As its own thing, not as a part of a highlight package that'll be coming out halfway through April.
Yeah, the next one halfway through April, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I've got an essay I'm working on about something that affects me while I'm playing video games. And the controller retrospective is coming along really well.
Fantastic.
I go into way too much detail about really small aspects of the game. It's great.
That's what you love, though.
It's just like my last two.
Yeah, you love that. You do love that. I think. Well, no, I don't think. I know I will be streaming again probably from next week.
Yeah,
when yet, I don't know, but Dead Space will be returning. Then we'll move on to Dead Space 2.
So Tuesday and Friday nights will probably be It Takes Two nights. All going well. Among Us Saturdays will still be a thing, and then it's whatever Moody's going to do because I won't be streaming any of the other nights, basically. So that's cool. And once I've finished It Takes Two, we'll see. I'm kind of liking this groove because one of the things I was thinking when I was playing Genesis Noir was, damn, I wish I'd streamed this. This would have been a cool stream to just watch my brain collapse in on itself as I was trying to play this game that I wasn't understanding but enjoying. And then thinking, I have to explain why, but I can't explain why. But I'm a podcaster who talks about games. How do I talk about a game I'm enjoying but not explain why I'm enjoying it? And then
how do I do this?
But I was just like, I just want to so I want to stream that. There's another indie game coming out in a couple of weeks. I want to stream that as well. So Moody's going to take care of the old games on Twitch. And I'm going to take care of the shiny new games. And then every now and again we'll play multiplayer.
New shiny games. I might touch a couple of shiny.
Yeah, and then every now and again we'll play multiplayer games because we both enjoy multiplayer games.
We both like teaming up. So it's all
for some reason.
Some reason indeed. Bye, everybody.
Are we going? Okay.